Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Venerable Sangha, nuns and lady. So, well, I think we are doing the class after maybe 1 month. Anyway, so what we have to do is today is to discuss the method number 10, right? So for that, we need to analyze the sentence, an example, and then we'll go to the Sarupatha and further discuss. Yes.
OK。那今天我们将来学习的是第10法的相关的内容。我们首先将会从经文的内容开始入手。
Yes. Okay. Did you? So can you hear me also?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay, so you did, right?
I think I already translated.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the method number 10, it's vipayuttena vipayuttang. Vipayuttena vipayuttang. Right? Vipayuttena vipayuttang. So I'll analyze this sentence. So first go through the Pali and explain it. So first it says Rupakhandena yedhamma vipayutta tehi dhammehi yedhamma vipayutta te dhamma katihi kandehi katihi ayatanehi katihi dhatuhi vipayutta. So in this sentence we have few parts, right? Few things. One, now here we have the state of inquiry, which is Rupakhandena. So we have this yedhamma vipayutta, right? So Rupakhandena yedhamma vipayutta. So here we have to consider from this part of the sentence, right? The disassociation. The disassociation. And then in the next part of the sentence, it says, Tehi dhammehi yedhamma vipayutta. So this yedhamma, it's as usual, it becomes the te dhamma here. So it's connected to this one. Tehi dhammehi yedhamma vipayutta. So first you have to consider the disassociation part from here, from the Rupakkhanda, and then we have to again consider the dhammas which are disassociated with those states, right? So here also you find this disassociation. So that's this second part, right? So in the third part, the question comes as te dhamma katihi kandehi katihi ayatanehi katihi dhatuhi vipayutta. So this is the question. It says, so those states, whatever the Dhammas which came here, the answer from here. So those states, again, it's the question is on which states using how many aggregates, Kati Kandehi, that's the meaning, Kati Ayatane with using how many bases, Kati Dhatu with how many elements are those Dhammas are disassociated with. So that's the part, right? And then we have the answer here. Te Dhamma Chaturi Kandehi Eken Ayatanena Satai Dhatui Vipayutta Eken Ayatanena Ekaya Dhatuya Kehichi Vipayutta. So here we find we did not go into the detail in the Sarupata. So but we have the answer here. So when you look at, so we have the Vipayutta here, and we have the Kehichi Vipayutta, right? Partial here is the disassociation, and here we have the partial disassociation, right? Yes.
那我们以这一个第十法的第一段经文的段落呢，来看一下构成第十法的部分。那问题的话呢，有3个部分。举例而言，比如这里呢，它的探究法是 Rupakanda 是色蕴。那第一个出现的耶达玛呢，是针对色蕴而言的不相应的内容。接下来的 Dehi Damihi 它指代的呢就是耶达玛。那对于这里的 Dehi Damihi 呢，第一个耶达玛继续的去探究，对于它而言有哪些法呢是不相应的。那在之后第3个问题的 Dhamma 呢，就是第2个得到的耶达玛的内容。对于这里的 Dhamma 的内容呢，继续发问，它们呢不相应于哪些的运出界？对于色蕴而言呢，那透过这样的问题，最终得到的答案呢是这些的法呢，它们将会不相应于4种的运、1种的出和7种的界。那再有的话呢，也会提到有关于部分不相应的问题，在这里呢，它就有提到，也有部分不相应于1种的出、1种的界。Okay, Bade.
Okay, so now we move into the Sarupata of this method number 10. So in the method number 10, we have 10 groups. So in these 10 groups, go through them one by one as usual. And this table is from the Mulapattana Shadows book, from the translation of the Dhatukatha. This Shadows translation. So I will go through it, right? So first one, the first part, it's the disassociation, right? Okay, I'll mark it here. Right, this is the first part, first disassociation. The second part is here, right? And finally, at the third part, here. So here we have the Rupa Khandena as our state of inquiry. So in this state of inquiry, Rupa Khandena, it's the matter aggregate, right? So matter aggregate, we have first have to get the disassociation, Yedamma Vipayutta. So Yedamma Vipayutta, so the Dhammas which are disassociated with the Rupa, the matter, are the 4 mental aggregates, right? So I think the knowledge from the 6th method is directly applied here because we have the Vipayutta here. So this is the first disassociation. And then we move into the second part here, right? Second part here. So we have the disassociated from these states, right? So Tehi Dhammehi Ye Dhamma Vipayutta. So the 4 mental aggregates, they are disassociated with the 28 matter and also with the Nibbana, right? So we find the state of inquiry here plus Nibbana is also here, right? This pattern is not the same, I think. In some of the other states of inquiry, it's slightly different. But anyway, we find the matter, 28 matter, and the Nibbana here. And then we move to the third part of the third part. Te Dhamma Katihi Kandehi Katihi Ayatanehi Katihi Dhatuhi Vippayutta. So those states with how many aggregates, using how many aggregates, using how many bases, and using how many elements are those states are disassociated, right? So yeah, so then we have the disassociation of these dhammas, matter, 28 matter, and nibbana, which is 4 mental aggregates, the mind, the manayatana, and we have the 7 consciousness as well, right? And here we have the mental factors as well, right? The mental factors which are associated with this consciousness, which is for the partial disassociation, kehichi vippayutta, right? So disassociation and the partial disassociation, right? So it's 4 aggregates, 1 base, 7 elements, and disassociation is with the partial disassociation with one element and 1 base and 1 element. Yes, sir.
对，好，那我们来结合这个图表来进行分析。那这里的图表呢，是来自于穆拉巴塔纳西亚多的书册。这里呢，第一行我们看到是我们刚刚看到的有关于如巴坎达色蕴的探究法的内容。那对于首先的色蕴而言呢，那哪些法不相应于色蕴呢？那以蕴而言的话呢，则是有4种的名蕴不相应于色蕴。那对于这里的4名蕴而言呢，第二个问题是又有哪些的法不相应于这4种的名蕴呢？那答案呢，即是28种的色法以及涅槃，这是第二个问题的答案。那第三个问题呢，即是继续的进行发问。Tidamma kadehi kandehi katiha yadanehi katihi dhatuhi vippayutta，又有哪些的运出界不相应于这里的28种色法和涅槃呢？那最终的答案呢，是有4种的名蕴、1种的处、1处和7种的界、70界呢，与28种的色法以及涅槃不相应。那再有的话呢，有哪些法的部分与这28种的色法和涅槃不相应呢？在运出界之中呢，则是有1种的处和1种的界的部分的内容呢与它不相应，即是法处和法界之中的52种的心所法与28种色法和涅槃呢是存在不相应的关系。OK， 反对。
Yes, now we move into the next state of inquiry, which is the Vedana Khandha. Vedana Khandha, you find here the Vedana Khandena. So it's the feeling aggregate. So the dhammas which are disassociated with the feeling aggregate, it's the matter and nibbana, right? The 28 rupa and the nibbana. Those are the dhammas which are disassociated with the feeling aggregate. So that's the first part. And in the second part, we have Tehi Dhammehi Ye Dhamma Vippayutta. So those states of inquiries, those dhammas which are disassociated is the 4 mental aggregates, right? The matter and nibbana are disassociated with the 4 mental aggregates. And the final part, it says those are disassociated and partially disassociated, right? So for the 4 mental aggregates are disassociated with 1 aggregate, right? So what is this aggregate? It's the matter aggregate, right? 4 mental aggregates are disassociated with matter aggregate and with 10 bases and 10 elements, which are the 10 gross bases and 10 gross elements, which consist of only the rupas. And finally we have the partial dissociation with the Dhammayatana and Dhammadhatu. So the Dhammas which are dissociated are the subtle matter and the Nibbana, right? The subtle matter and the Nibbana. Yes.
好，我们看第二个的探究法呢是维达那坎达受蕴。那对于受蕴而言，有哪些法与它不相应呢？那于是呢，我们得到第一个耶达玛的内容呢是色蕴和涅槃，这是第一个耶达玛的内容。那对于这里的色蕴和涅槃又有哪些法与它不相应呢？那我们得到四名蕴呢与它是不相应的。那得到第二个耶达玛的内容呢？那第三个问题对于此而发问，也有哪些的法？对于这四种的名运而言呢，它不相应于哪些的运周界呢？那我们得到，在运中呢有色运与它不相应，在处和界之中呢，10种的粗的色处和色界与它是不相应的，这是与它不相应的存在。那部分的不相应呢，则是有法处和法界之中的16种微细色以及涅槃与它是处于不相应的关系。OK，班队。
Okay, so the next state of inquiry is Chakku Vijnana Dhatuya. So Chakku Vijnana Dhatuya is the eye consciousness element. So in this eye consciousness element, it's a state of inquiry, and the Dhammas which are disassociated from Vijnana Dhatuya, from the eye consciousness elements, are the 6 consciousness element and the 52 mental factors, right? So what are those 6 conscious elements, right? The other 6 apart from the eye consciousness, right? So that's the answer for the disassociated states here. And I think there are 2 okay, so here we need to add the (28) matter and the Nibbana as well. (28) matter and Nibbana needs to be added here, right? And so that's the first disassociation, right? First part. So into the second, when we move to the second part. So Dhammas which are disassociated with these 6 consciousness elements and the mental factors and the 28 matter and Nibbana are the eye consciousness element and the mental factors, right? So we have the state of inquiry itself here. In the third part, it explains.
Sorry, Bande. So here, should we consider Nibbana or not?
We have to consider the Nibbana as well, because can you remember the I hope that y'all can remember we discussed that the mental aggregates are disassociated with Nibbana. There was the theory, a ruling. Can you remember this? The Rupa is not disassociated with Nibbana, but the mental aggregates are disassociated with Nibbana. So that's why the Nibbana is also coming as the disassociation. Right. So that becomes the answer for the first part, and for the second part, disassociated from these states are the eye consciousness element and the mental factors, right? Okay, we discuss of this part. Okay, and the final part, it says disassociated. The third part, partially disassociated. So for the disassociation, we have the mental aggregate, the 28 matter, one aggregate, Then we have the 10 gross bases, right? 10 gross bases, which are from the Rupa. And finally, for the elements, we have 10 gross matter, right? 10 gross elements, and the 6 consciousness, right? Apart from the I consciousness, right? So altogether there are 16. 10 plus 6, 16 are there. And in the final part, we have for the partial disassociation, for the subtle matter and the Nibbana, right? For the Dhammayatana and Dhammadhatu, ideation base and ideation element. Yes, sir.
第三个探究法是 Bhikkhu Atulañāṇa 眼识界。那对于眼识界而言呢，与它不相应的法以蕴摄呢，则是以明蕴考虑呢，首先呢，如果是对于眼识界而言的话呢，我们考虑有哪些法与它不相应呢？则是可以得到不与它同时存在的六种的时蕴，那以及呢与其相应的心所法，那可能呢是整体而言的52种的心所法。除此以外呢，28种的色法和涅槃呢，与眼识界也是可以存在不相应的关系。那于是呢，我们得到第一个的那些法呢，不相应的法呢，是这些内容。对于这些内容而言，又有哪些的法与它们不相应呢？那对于这里的6种的十界和52种相应心所、28种色法和涅槃而言呢，有眼识界和其相应的7种心所法与它呢是不相应的关系。那第三个问题，继续对于这里的眼识界和7种相应心所而言，又有哪些？它们呢，则可以不相应于哪些的蕴处界呢？答案是它们不相应于1种的蕴色蕴，以及10种的处粗的色处，还有呢16种的界。那16种的界呢，除了10种的粗色界以外呢，还包含有除了眼识以外的剩下的6种的识界。这样的话呢，则是有16种的界。有某些法，它们的部分呢是与眼识界和其相应心所不相应的，比如说在法处跟法界之中的16种的微细色以及涅槃呢，也存在和眼识界等名法的不相应的关系。所以呢，这里呢是1种的处和1种界的部分呢与眼识界和相应名法不相应。OK 吧？对。
Okay, so the next state of inquiry in this group is Upekkhindriyena, in the fourth group, right? So Upekkhindriyena. So Upekkhindriyena, it's the Upekha Vedana, right? That's the Upekkhindriyena. So the feeling of equanimity. So dhammas which are disassociated with Upekkhindriya is the bodily pleasure and bodily pain, and mental joy, grief consciousness, and mental factors, right? So the other types of consciousness, right, so are considered here, right? Actually, this it should be body. I mean, Sarah shortened this to include in the table. So it is bodily pleasure consciousness, bodily pain consciousness, mental joy consciousness, grief consciousness, and mental factors, 51 mental factors, right? I think it should be 52 mental factors. Yeah, here it should be 52. It should be 52 mental factors. Why? the reason here it's like now in generally now when you say take the upekkhindriya, the upekha, right? So upekha is this is associated. This is associated with the 55 consciousness. The 55 consciousness which upekha is applicable, and I think it's 46 mental factors, right? The other 46 mental factors, excluding the upekha here, right? It's excluding the upekha here, the upekha vedana, right? But this, when you consider the disassociation, right? So when you look at the disassociation with the other types of, right? Other types of vedana, right? Other types of feeling, which Sayadaw have included here as the bodily pleasure, bodily pain, grief consciousness, mental joy, and grief consciousness in this way, right? So it's that this upekha, the consciousness, which is the upekha vedana, it is disassociated with the other chittas and the mental factors, the whole thing, right? So in the Pali word, I think I have explained this thing before. The term we use is chittupada, right? I think this comes in the commentary as well. Chittupada, right? So chittupada means you consider a particular mind moment. It means the consciousness plus the associated consciousness plus the associated mental factors, right? So we when we're learning the method number 6, we learn that one chittupada can be considered as is disassociated with another chittupada, right? So in this case for bodily pleasure, bodily pain, mental joy, and grief consciousness, so this in each of these chittupada, they have it's Sayadaw is correct, right? This should be 51. I made a very simple error. What is the what is the mental factors which is deducted here? The vichikitsa, you know? Vichikitsa, it is only associated with the only associated with the upekha vedana. So that's why this is correct. This is correct. That I was explaining something wrong. Okay, so let's forget that, right? I was trying to explain something else. So yeah, I thought it was an error here, but it's not an error. Hope that you understand this thing, right? The meaning of chittupada. Okay, so now we have the it's not only the the mental aggregates which are disassociated with the indifference faculty. The 28 matter and also the nibbana is also considered, right? They are also disassociated. Then with these dhammas, we move into the second disassociation. So in the second disassociation, right? So with these dhammas, it's the indifference accompanied consciousness, There are 55 of them, and also the mental factors, right? So now here we see this is what the Chittupada, right? The Chittupada, where the Upekha Chittupada, right? Where the indifference, the equanimity feeling is associated with. It is this Chittupada, right? But now here, when you compare the state of inquiry, it's only the feeling, right? The feeling mental factor, right? But here, when you move into the second dissociated state, in addition to the feeling, the whole Chittupada, the Chittupada itself, the Chittupada which is with the Upekha. No, it's wrong. Cannot write properly. Yeah. Okay. The whole Chittupada, the Upekha Chittupada is considered here as dissociation. And then we move to the final part for the dissociation and the partial dissociation. So here we have the mental aggregate, sorry, the matter, 28 matter as dissociate, one aggregate, right? And then the 10 gross bases and 11 bases, right? The 10 gross bases and the yeah, and the Kaya Vijnana, right? The body consciousness element, the Kaya Vijnana. So that's why it's 11, right? So in Kaya Vijnana, we have only the two types of Vedana, right? The bodily pain and bodily pleasure, right? So it does not consist of Upekha Vedana, right? So that's why it's considered here as disassociated. So that's how we get the 11 elements. And finally, we have the partial disassociation for these dhammas, for the mental factors. The mental factors it's not on the snow. No, we don't have the mental factors. It's only the subtle matter and the nibbana which comes here. Yes. Awesome.
好，那我们看到第4个探究法的内容呢是乌贝肯迪利亚，也是舌根。舌根呢，它的究竟法的对应的内容呢，就是一种的舌受。那换言之呢，就是舌受心所。第一个问题是，对于舌受心所而言，有哪些法是与它不相应的呢？那答案呢是，乐受的生食，以及呢苦受的生食，还有呢乐受的心识，以及忧受的心识，以及与他们所相应的51种的心所法。那这些呢，都是作为舍根或者是舍受的不相应法的内容。那第二个问题呢，对于上述这些法，又有哪些法和它们是不相应呢？答案呢是55种的舍相应心和其相应的46种的心所法。它们呢也可以被理解为这个 Jitupada。那其实呢，心等起的由舍受所存在的心等起的法，包含有舍相应的心和舍相应的心所法。那对于这些的55种的舍心和46种的相应心所，也有它们呢不相应于哪些的运处界呢？那答案呢是它们不相 色蕴与它们不相应，1种的蕴，还有呢10种的粗的色触与它们不相应，再有呢10种的粗的色界与它们不相应，还有1种的界即是生识界与它呢不相应。那为什么呢？因为在生识界之中呢，一定不会存在任何的舍受，所以呢生识界也与它不相应。一共呢是有这样的11种界与它不相应。部分不相应的呢，则是法处跟法界之中的16种微细色和涅盘，它们呢也与这些的名法呢存在不相应的关系，所以呢是部分的不相应。OK， Bante。
Okay. Now we move to the group number 5, which is the Rupa Bhavena. Rupa Bhavena is the fine material becoming, and with this fine material becoming, the other planes are considered are the planes which are disassociated, right? So it's sensuous becoming and immaterial becoming, which are consciousness and mental factors, right? You consider the sensuous becoming and immaterial becoming, right? And from that we know that the sarupatha for these are the consciousness, which are mental factors, wholesome and unwholesome, and also the and the final we have the fruition, the palachittas, the kriya chittas, right? The inoperative chittas. Okay, so now you may have a question here. Why do not, now we know the fine material becoming the rupa bhava. It consists of some types of certain types of matter, some rupa. And here for the dhammas which are disassociated, we find the sensuous becoming and immaterial becoming, and only the nama dhammas, only the uh, only the mental aggregates are considered here. The reason is, now when you have the matter here as the state of inquiry, right? Part of it is matter, and here also we cannot consider the matter as disassociated, right? I hope that you all can remember the theory which we learn in the 6th method. The matter, one part of matter, and the matter are not considered to be vipayutta, disassociated. So that's why we are looking at this only the nama dhammas as the disassociation. Right. And then we have the disassociation. The second disassociation, it's the state of inquiry itself, which is the fine material becoming. Moving into the third part, it is only disassociated with 3 types of element: nose, tongue, and body consciousness element. Right. So these the ghana viññāna dhātu, jivha viññāna dhātu, and kaya viññāna dhātu, they are not present in the fine material becoming. So that's why it's considered only 3. Right. So in fine material becoming, there are types of rupa, right? So that's why we don't find the aggregates or bases as disassociated, right? So we should have, if it was not there, if any rupa was not here in the fine material becoming, then there should be one aggregate and 10 bases, etc., right? But it does not apply here. So it's 0 here, right? So anyway, the partial disassociation is not applicable, right? So it's only disassociated with these 3 types of elements which do not arise in the fine material becoming. Yes, sir.
But then can you try to explain again why when we try to analyze for rupa bhava, fine material becoming, we don't using the Paramattha Dhamma to analyze what type of nama rupa contains inside this Sarupata Dhamma.
We consider all the one, like for fine material becoming, so we have how many chittas? 15, right? Can somebody please tell me? I don't remember.
Yeah, 15 Bande.
Because some of, yeah, I mean 15 is okay. So is it only the vipaka chittas we consider here?
That's the question
right.
also. Why when we say the bhava, usually we only consider the vipaka citta, but so here's consider all types of nama here.
Can somebody please tell me the Sarupata for the state of inquiry itself? Is it 15 or 5? Yeah. Here it's have the 5 resultants. Right? 5 resultants are there, and right, 2 eye consciousness are there. Some parts of consciousness are there, right? Eye consciousness are there, and then 2 ear consciousness is there, and 2 receiving chittas, right? 2 receiving chittas are there, 2 investigating chittas are there. Okay, Sampatichana, Santirana. Okay, Mr. JJ have sent this. Okay, it's correct. Rupavachara, Vipaka, Chakku Viññāna, Sota Viññāna, Sampatichana, Santirana. In addition to that, right, so this is the most important part. In addition to those consciousness, it consists of the 15 15 Kammaja Rupa, 15 types of Kammaja Rupa, which arise in the Rupa Bhava, fine material becoming. 15 types of them are applicable. So that's why we don't consider here the Rupa for the first disassociation. Did you get it also?
Sorry, but can you repeat again about what rupa?
15 types of rupa are here for the state of inquiry. 15 Kammaja Rupa.
Yes.
From 20, you have to deduct femininity, masculinity, nose, tongue, and body. Like that. So I deduct them from here. That's why rupa is not applicable here. It's not included here.
Yes, Padre. Okay.
Okay, but one thing I'm not clear. Okay, one thing I'm not clear is why now here we find, okay, if somebody can come up with an answer, it would be good. So here we have the consciousness which belongs to the sensuous becoming, material becoming, right? The kama bhava and the rupa bhava, and also the palachittas and the kriya chittas. Right? So the wholesome and unwholesome are included. So not sure what. Okay, we have to, I think what shadow means. Oh, I think we discussed this in the Sinhalese class also. We also have this question. Okay, now I remember the answer. Yeah. So we have to consider this as two parts. Right? So this is basically you are telling here what is if you compare with the state of inquiry with the sarupata which I highlighted in yellow color. It's the comparison from which is directly, it is compared with the fine material becoming is compared with the kama bhava and arupa bhava, like that it's compared. And the other part which now I'm going to highlight, right? The wholesome, unwholesome, fruition, and inoperative, kusala, akusala, pala, and kriya chittas, right? So what is done here in the state of inquiry itself? We have 5 resultant chittas, right, which belongs to the vipaka category. So this vipaka is compared with, we know the vipaka is not it is disassociated with the whole with the kusala. It is disassociated with the akusala. It's disassociated with the pala, right? Pala is also a vipaka, but here it's considered to be disassociated, and here also inoperative, right? The kriya chittas. Right? So then there is this comparison here as well. So we find it in 2 ways here. So that's how the shadows have derived the sarupata for this one. Oh, and one more thing. Oh, in some part of Vipaka, not only the five resultants of the fine material resultants, and some other resultants are also included here, which is the two eye consciousness, to ear consciousness, to receiving consciousness, to investigating chitta. So they're all included here. Right? So the whole the full vipaka chittas are included here. So that's why it's not, they are not considered here. Only the pala chitta, the fruition, they are considered here. Right? So the second disassociation part, it's easy, right? So this whole thing is disassociated with the state of inquiry itself, right? The state of inquiry comes here. And then finally, final dissociation is straightforward. This fine material becoming, they are disassociated with three aggregates, which is nose, tongue, and body. Yes, questions to clarify?
Okay, no problem. But okay，好，那第五个探究法的内容呢是如巴巴瓦是色有的内容。那这里的话呢，我们首先，刚刚请尊者帮我们展开来确定了它的究竟法的内容。这之前有在聊天室当中也有跟大家打出来，那大家可以看一下。那这里呢，对于色有的所包含的探究法、究竟法的内容呢，可以是如下的相关的果报的明法以及色法。那果报的明法呢，就包含有5种的色界的果报心、2种的眼识、2种的耳识、2种的领受、3种的推度，及其相应的35个心所，还有15种的业声色。那对于这些的明法和色法而言呢，它们都是隶属于色有，即是色界有情的生命流之中可以出现的。那么接下来对于它而言，有哪些法与它不相应呢？那在这里呢，直接采取的解读的方式呢，是取那些欲有和无色有情生命之中所出现的那些的时运和那些的识和心所，那包含有像善不善和果和为作类型的识和相应的心所法。好，那对于这些的法而言，又有哪些内容与它是不相应呢？那这里的话呢，第二个耶达玛的内容呢，则是又回归到了探究法本身又是色有所包含的相关的内容。那对于色有而言，它不相应于哪些的运出界呢？那因为在这里呢，色有的内容包含了5蕴，所以呢，在蕴当中不存在不相应。那同样的，在处之中呢，也不存在不相应。在界之中呢，则是有3种的界，即是B世界、舍世界和身世界3种的界呢，是存在不相应的关系。那部分的不相应呢，则没有。OK，吧？
Okay. Okay, there's a question by Mr. JJ.
Wandami Bante, Terwasana Bante. Bante, may I clarify the here because under fine material becoming, other than the fine material resultant, there are also Kama Vachara Vipaka Chitta. So when we come to the dissociated states, the first group, when we have sensuous becoming, that means Kama Bhava, so there will be an overlap. There is also Kama Vachara Vipaka Chitta, like the Sota Vijnana, Chakku Vijnana, Sota Vijnana, Sampatichana, Santirana. So in that case, do we need to exclude this from the the first dissociated states, or because they are dissociated by plane, so it's okay to still include them.
Yeah, it's not included here. Now, when you say sensuous becoming, you consider the basically it's the Patisandhi Vipaka Chittas you consider here. "23 resultantions." No, it's only the Pavatti and Patisandhi. Yes, as you said, now in general, now I just check the Sarupatta for the Kama Bhava. Right, so in Kama Bhava we have, for Kama Bhava, we have the 23 Kama Avachara Vipaka Chittas and the associated Chetsika and also the Kamaja Rupa. So now I think when we are considering here, when we are considering the sensuous becoming, we have to consider, we have to remove, I mean, we have to exclude the consciousness, the resultant consciousness which falls here. The word you used was the overlapping ones, right? The two eye consciousness, the two ear consciousness, and the some investigative consciousness, etc. So those vipaka chittas are in generally it's categorized in the kama vachara. So those those need to be excluded. Yes.
But can you
for
repeat
this
again for the Kama Bhava, how many Vipaka Chitta?
In Kama Bhava, we have 23. 15 plus 80. 15 plus 8. 15 Ahetuka Vipaka and 8 Sahetuka Vipaka.
So if in this case we didn't exclude the former Vipaka Chitta,
Yeah, we
appears
did not
in
exclude
the
the
Rupa
it's
Bhava.
not yeah, in the book it's not explicitly given. That's why I think Mr. JJ asked this question. Is it? It's not given here, right? That's why you asked this question. Oh, there.
Bhante, I asked this question partly is to know whether it should be excluded, or also because I'm not sure, because when Bhante was teaching us method 6, Bhante mentioned that there are 4 types of dissociation, vipayutta, by bhumi, by plane, by jati, by the class, and then by time, color, and also by continuity. So usually in the past, we have always looked at it to say that by time. But we have not seen earlier the example of by plane, dissociation by plane, or dissociation by class. So I'm just wondering, Bhante, would it be the case here that even though there is overlap of the like Chakku Vijnana, Sota Vijnana, but because they are here, they are arising in a different plane, in a Rupa Vachara or in a Kama Vachara. So therefore they are still okay. They are still dissociated by plane. So therefore no need to be excluded. So I'm just wondering, is this the case of that?
I think you're right. I think you're correct. No need to exclude it. If you look at it in that way, yes. So I think you're correct here. Because here we look at it as bhumi, right? We consider the bhumi. And here we consider the jati. Like that. Yes, you can look at it in that way. That's correct. You know, no need to associate. So if you look at it in that way, There is no overlapping. Okay, so can somebody please translate?
OK, so 还是先由这些先友来表述一下吧。把你的那个刚刚的想法跟他。
好的，本地弟子尝试一下。弟子的问题是因为刚才提到说，在这个探究法里面的这个舍友里面呢，有包括这个果报性里面，除了5种色界果报性以外，也有包括欲界的果报性，就是有2个眼识、2个耳识、2个领受以及三个退度啊，所以这些呢是属于欲界的果报性。那么在它的这个第一个那个不相应法的那个内容里面有提到这个欲有跟无色有，欲有里面呢就会有包括23种欲界的果报性其中呢就有包括这些眼识、耳识、领受以及退度。那这种情况之下，是不是需要在这个欲欲有里面呢，把这一些色有里面会出现的这些心识，把它排除在外呢？这个是一开始的问题。但是呢，因为呢，之前我们在学习，老师在教导我们第6法的时候呢，有提到呢，关于不相应的方式呢，有4种不相应的情况。那第一种呢，就是根据地的情况，不密地的情况，就是欲不密应该是地和本地，不是界，就是欲界、色界、无色界跟那个
对，
出
它是地，
世界的。
但是也可以说成是界，都可以。
好的，本地就是根据地或者界这样的一个不相应，这是第一种。那第二种呢，就是根据它的这个家地是本地家地是类别还是什么？应该是类，就是它的
可以说成
还是
是对它的性质或本性。
性质本质，就是它是善不善果报为作等等，就是第二种的不相应的。第三种呢是时间，第4种呢就是相续。那所以这4种里面，之前呢老师教我们举例子里面，经常我们都看到都是时间方面的这个不相应。那现在呢弟子想问老师，就是是不是这种情况之下呢，可能呢就是前面就是黄色的那个就是属于地或者界都不相应，就是说呢，虽然两者都有眼识、耳识、领受、退度，可是呢在探究法里面的眼识、耳识、领受、退度呢是属于在色界升起的，然后呢在第一个不相应法的内容里面的这个欲有情况下出现的这个眼识、耳识、领受、退度呢，他们是属于在欲界升起的，因为这样呢就有界或者是地的这个差别，所以呢他们就根据那个地或者是界的这个不相应的原则呢，所以他们还是属于不相应的，虽然都是同样的心识，所以这样就有了就不需要把它排除然后另外呢，下面呢那个紫色的部分就是因为前面提到的只有果报类型的这个民法，所以呢善的不善的为做的以及这个那个果心是因为是属于出世间的，所以也是属于不一样的这个类别，所以因此这样的情况下，是不是就变成就是说，因为是以阶或者低的不相应而就不需要排除老师说应该是这样的情况，所以就虽然有重复，可是因为是界不同所以就不需要排除，这样可以吗？范你
对，萨度萨度。
Okay, so we'll end up the
Bante,
class here.
sorry,
We
Bante.
have questions. Yeah. Okay.
May I ask another clarification? If it's okay? It's okay.
Yes, but we have to. I have another class in another 30 minutes. Okay.
Oh, okay, okay. Very quick, Bante.
Yeah, sure.
Because we have now after the first dissociated states, the second dissociated states will bring us back to the states of inquiry. also fine material becoming. And then from that, we look at dissociated states again. So we would expect the dissociated states would be the same as the first dissociated states. Because the second dissociated state is the same as the state of inquiry. So the final answer for the dissociated states would be the same as the first dissociated state, because what is dissociated from fine material becoming? So that should be like sensuous becoming and immaterial becoming, wholesome, unwholesome, fruition, inoperative, and things, and whatever that's appear in the first dissociated states. But in the answer, we only have the three Vijnana Dhatu. This is because, and just to clarify that, this is because whatever that is in the sensuous becoming, immaterial becoming, and so on and so forth, as long as they belong to the same category that fine material becoming has, then we don't include them. We only include what is wholly dissociated. Would it be okay, Bhante? Is it correct, my understanding? Not sure whether it's clear, Bhante understand what I'm asking.
Okay, so which are the merits which we accumulated during the class by learning, reflecting, teaching, and questioning these supreme words of our master. So may this kusala kamma be a supportive factor for us to attain nibbana. May this kusala kamma be a supportive factor for our teachers, for our Dhamma friends, donors, and everybody to attain nibbana. May this kusala kamma be a supportive factor for all the beings in this world and the other worlds to attain nibbana. So may all the beings in this world and the other worlds become happy, healthy, and peaceful. And with all these wishes, we'll share the merits by reciting the final stanzas of the Abhidhamma commentary. Yang patang kusalang tassa anubhavena panino sabbe saddhamma rajassa ñatva dhammang sukhavahang papunantu visuddhaya sukhaya patipattiya asoka manupayasang nibbana sukhamuttamang chirang tithatu saddhammo dhamme hontu sagarva sabbepi satta kalena sammadevo pavassatu yatharakhinsu purana surajano tatevimang raja rakhatu dhammena attanova pajang pajang imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddhang pujemi imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya dhammang pujemi imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya sanghang pujemi addhaimaya patipattiya jati jara vyadhi maranamha parimuccissami idam me punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu idam me punyang nibbanassa paccayo hotu mama punya bhagang sabba sattanang bhajemi te sabbe me samang punya bhagang labhantu buddha sasanang chirang tithatu buddha sasanang chirang tithatu buddha sasanang chirang tithatu Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much for Bendy's teaching. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Yes.
Very much, Bante.
Yes. Oh, I think I figured out the answer. I'll explain you next day. The answer, yeah. Next time I'll explain
No
it.
problem. No problem, Bendy. Yeah, you can try to explain next time.
Okay, sorry.
So, Bendy, you want to